The first thing I'm doing, as always, is priming the eye area. With the recent cold snap here in Ireland, my lids are a little drier than usual, so I'm using a liquid base today, and this is one of my favourite budget bases. Then I'm going to add a very light dusting of powder to set the base in place, just to ensure that it doesn't crease up throughout the day. I'm using the Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye Contour Palette today, and the first shadow I'm taking is this matte white shade, and I'm using this as my brow bone highlight. I'm using a short stiff brush just to pack the product all along the under portion of the brow, and then I'm using a blending brush to slightly soften the edges, and I've applied the highlight in this way because I want it to be quite stark, quite noticeable. Next, I'm picking up some of this terracotta shade and I'm applying it into the crease. There's so many ways that you can combine the shadows in this palette. I have so many tutorial ideas in mind, but I decided to start with a kind of sultry, bit of a grungy look. So once I'm happy with how pigmented that shadow is looking on the lid, then I'm going to soften the shadow further. So obviously I blend as I'm applying, but I like to go in afterwards as well with just a clean blending brush, and I buff around the edges to make sure everything's nice and soft and faded. Then I'm using a smaller, more defined brush to apply the shadow along the lower lash line. I bring it halfway across the lash line with this brush, and then I take a smaller brush again just to do that inner portion. Once I'm happy with how it looks, I'm taking my smudger brush once again and I'm sweeping the brush back and forth just to fuse everything together. Next, I'm taking this dark brown shadow on my fluffy blending brush, and I'm just starting on the outer third of my eye, and I'm going to make my way across the lid and blend the shade up to the crease. This rounded shape that I'm doing at the moment was a style that I steered clear of about 99% of the time because I love winged liner, and in my opinion it doesn't really suit this shape, but I'm really loving it lately. So now I'm going back in with my smudger brush and I'm using it to apply the shadow all the way along the lower lash line, and I find it easier to use the smudger brush the whole way along the lower lash line now that I have some shadow in place. To add some depth, I'm taking the darkest shade in the palette and I'm deepening up the outer third of the eye. And this was my first time using Kat Von D's eyeshadows and I'm so impressed. The shadows are really buttery and blend with ease. I'm not really surprised though because I've tried some of her liquid lipsticks and the quality is superb, and the same applies here with the palette. Now, as I've said, I wouldn't put a wing with this kind of look, but I am going to press the shadow along the upper lash line, and then I'm fading the line into the darkness on the outer third of the eye, and of course what I'm doing to the top I'm going to do to the bottom as well, so I'm just running that black along the outer portion of my lower lash line. I've added some of the Sultry lashes from Penneys, and now I'm taking a clean blending brush and just buffing out that lower lash line once more just to make it really smoky. Next then I'm going to add some black liner to my waterline. This Bourjois one is really good, it stays in place and it's so affordable too. And then to finish off the look, I'm going to apply a couple of coats of mascara to my top and bottom lashes, and then that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and found it helpful. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.